Rome might not look like a big mountain biking city on the map, but when you think about it, I mean, Rome was born on 7 hills. That's what history says. And on those 7 hills, even right almost in the city center, you have some pretty nice city parks. And that's pretty much where we all started mountain biking. Whichever city park was closest to you, you would go there with your clapped out, early 2000s mountain bike, often no suspension, and start looking for trails. And then actually, as soon as you move a little bit out of the city, and I'm in literally 30 minutes from downtown Rome, you have some pretty nice hills. I mean, we actually have an old volcano, which is Monte Cavo, that is almost 1,000 meters tall. So that's where we all pretty much started what we could define as real mountain biking. So descending on trails and climbing back up to do it again. So whereas it might not seem like an ideal mountain bike city, it really has a ton of options, even without leaving the city. So that was, I think, instrumental for us growing up as mountain bikers, where we could start literally from within our neighborhoods and then kind of expand our horizons as we move forward.
Yeah, there were quite a few very nice coincidences in Rome. And I mean, I was fortunate enough to live in a neighborhood that, despite the many problems that it presented, being basically not the best neighborhood in Rome, so to say. And for sure there was no mountain biking culture whatsoever. But it had this beautiful city park and that I could get to in literally 5 minutes riding my bike. And that's where I started learning how to ride a bike. That's what we all did, really. I mean, back in the day, like Simon said, it was good that Rome was not flat at all, so we could experiment with our bikes. But at the same time, the lack of culture made us a bunch of guys that were trying to ride a bike, probably trying to mock whatever they saw on videos. Back in the days, it was DVDs shot in the North Shore area in Vancouver or California, and that was a little bit of our myths, mountain biking myths that we tried to emulate, and all of us were self-taught. We were self-taught mountain bikers. There was no such thing as mountain biking coaches, or there was no such thing as learning by the books. We just would try and ride at the best of our capabilities. We would crash, and that's how we kind of started developing a culture of mountain biking in Rome.
To give you an example of how, Giulio mentioned, we were pretty much learning either by doing or with videos. So we were watching the Crank videos. So a bunch of our buddies built this insane North Shore in the woods north of Rome. And by insane, I don't mean insanely good. I mean insanely sketchy, with 2-meter drops to flat, all things that were really dangerous, and everybody was hitting them and kind of crashing in different stages. But I also remember, for example, Giulio was constantly building jumps and drops in Pineta Sacchetti, and then we would all go check them out, and they were really sketchy. So we were really trying to do with what we had. But for example, there was really no education in trail building. So one of the things we did most, since all we saw in those videos was hacking, like drop into flat, was going to the city center at night and dropping off concrete walls to flat. So you can imagine that our local bike shop was really happy, because every week he was rebuilding wheels, suspension. I mean, I snapped a frame clean in half of a maybe 60-centimeter drop.
Yeah. Needless to say, my neck is feeling all those hucks today. Yeah, well, yeah, probably more than then.